everybody, this is Armstrong Hypersports here, back again with some more sport content. Today, we're going to be talking about the Stanley Cup Final, where we have from the East, the Washington Capitals, and from the West, the Vegas Golden Knights. Alright, first, let's talk about our very first contender from the East in the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals have one of the best power play units in the entire NHL and one of the best goalies in the NHL in my opinion. However, in my opinion, one of the weakest links on this team. This team is constructed of Alexander Ovechkin, who in the regular season had 49 goals and 38 assists for 87 points in 82 games. More than a point a game. That's incredible for Alexander Ovechkin. Then we have Evgeny Kuznetsov. In 79 games, so he missed a couple games, he had 83 points with 27 goals and 56 assists. And then we have Nicholas Backstrom. In 81 games, 71 points with 21 goals and 50 assists. We then move on to TJ Oshie. In 74 games, he had 47 points, an exact amount of a point per game for TJ Oshie. 18 goals and 29 assists. And then we have their incredible goaltender, obviously, in Brandon Holtby, who didn't play very much games today as he split some of the games with Philip Guerrero. Holtby, who has played most of the games in the playoffs, has honestly played pretty good in the playoffs, even though he hasn't been playing that good recently. The last two games that were against the Lightning, he had back-to-back shutouts. Back-to-back shutouts against one of the best offensive teams in the NHL. Incredible work by him. And the main reason why the Capitals are here today in the Stanley Cup Final, which will be broadcast on Monday. Brandon Holtby, in the regular season, in 54 games, he had a 2.99 goals against average and a 9.07 save percentage. Not very good. Philip Guerrero, however, in 35 games played, 235 goals against average and a 9.3 save percentage, so an even better save percentage and a better goals against average than Brandon Holtby, however, in less games. Now, if we move on to the preseason, aka into the playoffs of the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals have one of the most lethal power plays in the entire playoffs. What do I mean? Check it out. Evgeny Kuznetsov has 3 power play goals and 6 power play assists for a total of 9 power play points. That's incredible. And then we have Alex Ovechkin with 4 power play goals, mostly due to his signature slap shot from the left-hand circle, and 5 power play assists. Great stats by both of them leading this team. And then we have Nicholas Backstrom, not a single power play goal, but 9 power play assists. That's great for Backstrom. And then we have TJ Oshie, 5 power play goals and 4 power play assists. Great for TJ Oshie. Great job by him. Another huge reason why this team has been so good so far in this preseason is Brandon Holtby. Brandon Holtby has insanely stepped it up. Here are Brandon Holtby's stats in the playoffs or in the preseason. You have 18 games played, 2.04 goals against average, and a 9.24 save percentage. Terrific stats for Brandon Holtby. So, what do the Washington Capitals have to offer in this playoff series? They have defense, power play, and a goalie who is hot right now. Their power play consists of Evgeny Kuznetsov, Alex Ovechkin, Nicholas Backstrom, and TJ Oshie, who all have an incredible amount of power play points and assists and goals. They have an incredible shutdown defense to offer, which has not allowed a single goal in the last 2 games in the playoffs, which, I will remind you, was against one of the best offensive teams in the entire NHL. Great job by them. Alright, now we are going to be talking about the Vegas Golden Knights, the story of the 2017 to 2018 series, the thing that people are going to talk about for generations to come, and the expectations that every expansion team is going to have upon the soldiers for years to come, which will next be Seattle. Looking at the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights are the actual definition of a team. Every single person on their roster contributes, from the goalie all the way down to the sixth-string defenseman. This team is stacked with depth, and no matter what you throw at them, they are so resilient, and they will not stop until they have won. That's what's so incredible about this team. Leading the charge so far in the preseason, you have Jonathan Marchessault, which they got in the expansion draft from the Florida Panthers. And I guarantee you, the Panthers are still biting their tails about that mistake that they have committed to giving this guy up. And the next person on their points list for the preseason also came from the Florida Panthers in Riley Smith. Riley Smith, in 15 games played, 16 points, more than a point per game, 2 goals, 14 assists, great stats. Jonathan Marchessault, in 15 games, 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points, more than a goal a game. William Karlsson, who actually led this team in the regular season, in 15 games played, 6 goals, 7 assists for 13 points. And then you have other amazing players who have came into this team and immediately made a difference. You have James Neal, who is probably the face of this franchise behind, obviously, Marc-Andre Fleury. James Neal coming from Nashville. When I saw that Vegas got Neal, I was really surprised. I was really surprised that Nashville didn't keep him. Super surprised. Because whenever I watched Nashville play, I was always super impressed by the way James Neal played. He played with grit, he played with strength, and he played incredibly. And he has such a good personality, so good to run a team and be the face of the franchise. In 15 games played, James Neal had 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points. Incredible by him. A couple other defensemen actually who were great for this team. You have Shea Theodore, who was terrific for this team, and honestly, someone that everyone did not expect to be great. He was originally given to this team in the expansion draft from the LA Kings, and I guarantee you, the Kings are super sad that they gave up this guy. He's young, he's talented, he's fast, and he can score. So far in the preseason, Shea Theodore, in 15 games played, 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. Not anything flashy, but also pretty damn good stats for a defenseman. Another defenseman that made a huge difference in the regular season and so far in the playoffs, we have Nate Smith, who in 15 games played, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Again, nothing flashy, but incredible plays by him, and both these players are spending a lot of time on ice. Shea Theodore, 21:36 time on ice. Nate Smith, 24:53 time on ice average. That's incredible. In fact, Nate Smith has the highest time on ice average out of all of the players on the Vegas roster. Well, obviously the goalie plays all 3 periods unless he gets taken out. But still, that's fantastic. You have the backbone for this team, the face of this franchise, the guy that the Pittsburgh Penguins gave up, Marc-Andre Fleury. The freaking Flyer is single-handedly leading this team to success. Like, I guarantee you, you cut off all the limbs of all these players and you just leave Marc-Andre Fleury in net, just there, taking penalty shots for 3 periods straight, and the Vegas Golden Knights will still win. No joke. No fucking joke. And so, Marc-Andre Fleury, so far in the preseason, in 15 games played, 1.68 goals against average, and a 947 save percentage. Incredible stats by Marc-Andre Fleury, and by far the reason that he will probably get the Vezina Trophy candidate, and probably will get the trophy. I will predict that Marc-Andre Fleury will get that Vezina Trophy if Vegas makes it all the way to the playoffs. Alright then, now let's look at recent playoff games, shall we, for each team. Starting with the Washington Capitals. At the very beginning, the Washington Capitals had the pleasure of playing against the Blue Jackets. When the Washington Capitals went down 2-0 against the Blue Jackets, Washington didn't care. They fought and they fought and they fought to win the next 4 games, beating Columbus in 6 games, 4-2. After that, they went on to slay the Dragon in the Pittsburgh Penguins. They defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins in only 6 games. Great by the Washington Capitals, including an overtime, which was the final game to win it for the Capitals, 2-1. After slaying the Dragon and going on to face one of the strongest teams in the East, in the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Washington Capitals managed to defeat the Lightning in 7 games. So what happened was the Washington Capitals went down 3-2 in the series, so they had to win 2 straight games and able to win. One thing that my dad always told me is the team that wins game number 5 is usually the team that wins the entire series. Why? Well, it's obvious. The one team needs to win 1 game, while the other team needs to win 2 games. But the Washington Capitals still managed to come back and win in 7 games. And easy too. Both games were a victory of 3-0 and 4-0. Incredible goaltending, incredible defense, and the offense did not stop for nothing. And now they're facing off against the Vegas Golden Knights of the West. Let's see how their schedule was. Alright then, so the Vegas Golden Knights started off this playoff series against one of their rivals that will be a rival for years to come in the LA Kings. The Vegas Golden Knights ended up sweeping the Kings 4-0. Besides the fact that Jonathan Quick looked like an absolute god, and it was definitely not Jonathan Quick's fault that LA got swept. First game, 1-0. Second game, 2-1 Vegas. Third game, 3-2 Knights. Fourth game, 1-0 Knights. Very few high-scoring games besides game number 3, which was 3-2. Great series there by the Golden Knights. Easily, just got that first round over with. No sweat, nothing. And they move on to the second round to face off against the San Jose Sharks, who just recently destroyed the Anaheim Ducks. And I mean destroyed the Anaheim Ducks. They had momentum. They had Evander Kane, who was playing like an absolute god ever since he went to the Sharks. And they managed to defeat the Sharks in 6 games. First game, 7-0 Golden Knights. That was a little bit of a message that, hey, we're not going to be easy to beat. Second game, 4-3 Sharks in second overtime. Third game, 4-3 Golden Knights. Fourth game, 4-0 Sharks. That was their little message. Fifth game, 5-3 Knights. And finally, sixth game, 3-0 Knights. And then they move on to the third round to face off against the Winnipeg Jets, also known as Whiteout. So, what did the Jets have to offer the Golden Knights? They had speed, they had youth, they had veteranism, they had an elite goalie in net in Connor Hellebuck, who shocked the world this season. And what happens? What happens, everybody? Yeah, that's what I thought. the Vegas Golden Knights sweep them off their soldiers and win the series in 5 games, destroying the Winnipeg Jets in 5 games, 4-1 Vegas. And now, the Vegas Golden Knights are going to face off against the Washington Capitals. And they're facing off against Alexander Ovechkin, this is his first time ever making the Stanley Cup final. This is his year. This is when he is playing like a god. His power play is playing like a god, and I mean like a god. And their goalie has easily proved to the world that he is not that bad goalie that was playing for this team in the regular season. Brandon Holtby is back to Vezina caliber, and if I was Marc-Andre Fleury, I'd be scared. Boom. Who do I think is going to win the series? Who am I going to put my bets on? Between the Vegas Golden Knights, the story of the NHL, or the Washington Capitals? Alexander Ovechkin's very first Stanley Cup appearance. This is going to be a hard decision, but I am going to choose the Washington Capitals in 6 games. Do you hear me? I choose the Washington Capitals in 6 games. Their defense is going to overwhelm this Vegas offense and this unexperienced Vegas expansion team. Brandon Holtby is going to play like a god, and I repeat, Brandon Holtby, you are going to play like a god. Do you hear me? And if my prediction is wrong and the Vegas Golden Knights win, it's going to be because of Brandon Holtby. Brandon Holtby is going to fall apart. That's what's going to have to happen if the Washington Capitals are going to lose. So because of what I have seen from these last 2 games against the Tampa Bay Lightning was incredible. Their defense, great. Offense, fantastic. Goalie, lights down. They're hot, man. They're hot. They're going to be a hot team to beat, man. I tell you, man. Alright then, guys, that's my prediction. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed my very first video ever on this channel, please make sure to smash that subscribe button, dab on that like button, and as always, people, I will see you in the next episode with more sport content. This is Armstrong Hypersports, signing out.